Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. This is going to be really cool. I've been really looking forward to this. Something that's in the air lately because for some reason there has been an overwhelming amount of automatic turntables hitting the market. When I say overwhelming amount, I mean 3, which compared to years past, that's a lot because automatic turntables are awesome. They're a great beginner turntable because they're very easy to use. Just a single push start stop functionality. Now what's really cool about this, 2 things. One, Crosley has decided to take the automatic turntable into their flagship line, the C series, which is great. Previously, they had a T400, and it really needed a revamp. So I'm glad that they've got something new. And the other thing is the fact that this is new. It's not a revamp. This is a completely new turntable. And as you will soon see, the functionality and the design is unlike anything we've ever seen before in terms of the automatic mechanism. It is not the same tried and true but tired mechanism that's been in use since the Iowa automatic of the 90s. This is something different. You're not going to want to miss this. For us fans of automatic turntables, it has been wonderful the last 90 days or so. This is the 3rd major release of an automatic turntable by sort of the top 3 companies in the entry-level space. And this is great because Crosley needed a good automatic. The T400 they had before had the plastic platter and it was really underwhelming. But this hopefully will fit the bill. This is the C300. So the C series is their flagship line. So I'm glad they're putting this at the top. So let's see how it stacks up. Was really excited when I heard this was coming out. And this is brand new, you guys. So this literally just dropped. This is hot off the presses. And so it's really fun to be able to take a look at it. Probably the first video on YouTube reviewing this product. And that would not be the first time that we've been the first to market in terms of reviewing products, which is always exciting. I love getting there before the other guys. There's a little bit of competition between YouTubers. Maybe a little bit more than a little bit. But interesting. So we've got the carton packaging instead of styrofoam. So very earth-friendly there. This side is the dust cover. Looks like, oh, the manual's in there too. So I'll go ahead and pull the manual out. I'm going to set the dust cover aside for now. I'm going to leave it in this carton because it's protective. And now as I get this out of the package, I was about to warn you that we are having some lawn work done today, which we are. However, when you're in Florida, that happens a lot. So this is not really a way to avoid it, unfortunately. It seems like every time we're filming, you know, there's a lawnmower or a weed whacker in the background. That's because unlike other parts of the country, certainly Colorado, they have to do it year round. So pretty much every other day. All right, power supply, we've got an AC adapter, and it looks like it's a universal one. So it doesn't have the Edison plug on it yet. So we'll put that on. Over here, we've got the hinge clips. Oh, and there's that US plug. So we can go ahead and put that in. There it is. And we just snap it into place. So, depending on what region you're in, you get a different plug. So, sort of an ungangly, awkward plug there. Haven't seen this exact type before, but anyway, there you go. Power supply, we've got standard RCA, non-gold tipped, so just kind of a standard grade issue. Audio cable. The platter, yes, is metal. So that needed to happen. That really, really needed to happen. That's a bare minimum because you need that flywheel effect. You need the inertia from that thing rotating to maintain that speed consistency. Plastic platters just don't cut it. So I'm glad that they've left the plastic platter in the past where it belongs. The first thing that strikes me about this turntable as I pull it out of the packaging is how sizable it is. It feels large. It is, wow, that's a massive silica packet. Look at that. Got a styrofoam, kind of a light foam overwrap there. Ooh, cool, I like it. But yeah, it's big. It's bigger than I thought it would be. So let's go ahead and pull the packaging off. There we go. Let's set that aside, and here we go. Okay, let me flip it around here. It is, from a weight perspective, it's fairly light, but it's not super hollow feeling. It does, you know, have some weight to it. Once the metal platter's on there, that should be good. The finish is really interesting. It's like a satin finish. Very interesting. Very satiny, matte finish to it. And I love the fact that we're not attempting to be retro or anything here. It's just a straight component turntable. So that material continues on the bottom. I believe this is probably a masonite panel with a laminate on it, and then this is probably like an MDF board material with a laminate, but it's very well done. It's very clean lines, and yeah, so there's screws here, so it is serviceable. We got spongy rubberized feet there, and that's about it for the bottom side. I don't see any trim pots for, well, maybe I do. Nope, there is trim pots for speed. Okay, so they're right there hiding behind that foot. So that will be where we can adjust the speed for the motor if we need to do so. Obviously, we don't want to have to do that, right? So, okay, so there's the 12-volt power receptacle. We have the grounding post, which literally looks like a screw with a nut on it. Interesting. And the preamp switch, if you want to use your own preamp or the built-in one, and RCA output jack. So again, simplistic, but you know, all the core functionality is there. There's no power switch or anything like that back here. Not a huge surprise. We do have the clip receptacles for the dust cover assembly. Also, a little bit closer look at that foot here. As you can see, there might be like a couple coils of spring on there. Is that like a spring coil? They do have a spongy effect, and they are rubber, so that's nice. So yeah, it's an interesting device for sure. So I'm seeing some different components and things, which is good. Makes for an interesting show. Let's go ahead and start down here. So here's the main bearing, and that seems good. Interesting that they've put it sort of on this piece here. This is a very good thing. See this little gap down there? Let me zoom in even further for you to see. That is an optical speed sensor. So that is some technology to allow it to maintain speed. So this isn't just a passive motor, hopefully set at the right speed, spinning, spinning, spinning. This has some calibration capabilities where it will actually optically gauge the speed, the rotational speed, and correct it, which is really, really good. Also, you will notice this automatic turntable does not appear to employ the tired and typical sort of 90s Iowa mechanism set that we have seen so many times before. Holding this and you know, seeing it in person and the finishes and the way it's sort of put together, I am having this thought that it's probably made by the same company that did the Heyday turntable for Target. And there was another one, I think it was the Insignia, the Best Buy brand one. I think that was made by the same company. I'm guessing that's who. This does not feel like a handpin turntable to me. That being said, I'm liking what I'm seeing, and those products were good. I mean, they got good reviews. So yeah, very interesting. Usually you pull off the platter of an automatic and you see the gears and all of that being used over and over again. So, all right, let's check out this tone arm. All right, so here is our tone arm. It looks like an anodized aluminum tone arm, straight itself, which is fine. The only thing I don't like about a straight tone arm is typically that means that it's got a head that doesn't, a head shell that doesn't allow adjustment. Now there are types that do, but oftentimes that's not the case. All right, materials. So the cup back here is plastic. This housing over the gimbal is plastic. Doesn't feel like a ton of movement, so that's okay. We've got a lift shelf with a plastic lip there. There's no cueing switch, so perhaps the cueing functionality is down on the front. We've got a little clip there, plastic. Right down here, it's the size selector switch, so 7-inch or 12-inch. And that's an interesting place for that. There is no anti-skate adjustment. Now that doesn't mean there's no anti-skate. That just means there's no anti-skate adjustment. So that is likely set at the factory. We'll go ahead and test that and see if there is any anti-skate preset at the factory. And let's look at this head shell next. All right, let me go ahead and take off the stylus guard here. That is an Audio-Technica 3600L cartridge. I would have liked to see them put like a VM95C or something on there, or VM95E. I think that would have helped be a little bit more competitive with some of the automatics that are coming out right now, and sort of take it to the next level. That being said, this is still fine. It does have a plastic head shell, and it looks like it's not slotted on top. So you are committed to using this cartridge. So it's very similar to like an LP60, where you've got the 3600L and you're going to stay with it. You can replace the stylus, but you can't replace the cartridge. And that's a little bit disappointing as well. All right, and so down at the bottom right, we've got our control panel. This is very interesting. So it's this switch, plasticky, but doesn't feel like there's any problem with it. It's got a good solid ka-chunk between sides there. Bluetooth pairing switch, so you can have it transmit Bluetooth to your speakers, Bluetooth speakers, headphones, etc. The stop and start functionality are non-mechanical. This is the first time I have seen this. So it has an actual micro switch, electrical switch to start and stop the playback. So I will give it to Crosley for this alone, the fact that they're using a completely different automatic mechanism. This is something totally different. The queuing switch is also electrical. And this is probably manually queuing forward and back. Folks are always saying, oh man, you just see the same things over and over again. Well, this definitely is a departure from that, because there's nothing on this that is like any other automatic out there right now. So is that a good thing or a bad thing? Time will tell. Let's get the Platter on. It is sort of a dust magnet so far. I've noticed that packing dust is sort of clinging onto it. All right, so a Platter mat, they give you sort of a smooth, slightly shiny rubber Platter mat, which is nice. Although rubber Platter mats, you'll notice they're also kind of a dust magnet. And here is the Platter. So cast aluminum, and then if you look on the bottom, you will see these teeth here. That aligns with this speed sensor system. So as the light passes through, it's got like a little LED, and as the light passes through the teeth, it's able to measure that and thereby adjust the speed accordingly. So that's really, really cool. It's got a good heft to it. This is huge. This is so important that they did this, because having a metal Platter is essential. So the sub Platter there has the belt. It is belt driven. So what we're going to do is just rest it on there like that. And I've shown this up close before. I'm just going to do it quickly in today's video. Try to keep it a little different every video. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be the same thing every single time. Put it over the pulley there. That is a pretty hefty pulley, bigger than others. Put our Platter mat on top of that. And I'm pretty much ready to go. Let's get it plugged in. Dust cover on. Dust cover is smoked. Not tinted, but smoked. Fight me on that. Yeah, that looks great. It looks slick. It's a good, slick looking turntable for sure. Nice rounded corners on the dust cover. And they've chosen, let's see, rest position is 2 positions, so it's up or fully down. They've gone with a white rubber grips / bumpers down there. Interesting choice of white. All right, price point on this bad boy is $199. As of the filming of this video, it is for sale on their website. It's not on Amazon yet. I'm sure it will be soon. Like I said, this is hot off the press, this brand new item. I was looking through the FCC paperwork and photos and whatnot. Check out this internal photo of how this thing's put. Totally different mechanism. Everything is done differently. So instead of it being a mechanically driven automatic mechanism, it is an electrically driven automatic mechanism, which makes sense considering this. And specifically, check out the little motors running things over here in the corner. Very interesting, very odd, but cool. I think it's fun to see something done completely differently. Okay, so we have a 12-inch record on the Platter. And we're just going to test out the basic functionality. We'll do a sound test as well. But right now I thought we would just check it out. So this speed selector switch also functions as an on and off switch. So it's off 33 and 45. So I'm going to flip it to 33 right there. I did not see anything light up when I turned it to the on position. So I'm just going to hit start. Make sure that I'm on 12-inch back here. and hit start, and I hear something happening and it's spinning up, and the clip is on. That's a big no-no. Don't do that. How many people saw that coming? And then it drops down, and you can hear whatever the automatic mechanism in the background, you know, turning itself off. Manually queuing, I'm going to press this switch. There's about a 1 second delay. There's some drag on that tone arm. That's interesting. Okay, so I pushed it too far into the run out, so it's returning home again. Okay, that's really, really interesting. So I'm going to lift it up again. I want to see that automatic mechanism. So I'm going to drop it down. I'm going to have it run into the lead out. Okay, so it's hit the lead out. It's going to go in to the lead out area. Interesting. A little bit of noise associated with that return. A little bit of, I wouldn't call it a grinding noise, but you can hear the motor working. Not that it really matters. And it's dead silent as soon as the needle drops. All right, let's try a 7-inch record now. It does come with a 45 adapter, a pretty basic one. But yeah, you can always upgrade those. Putting on a 7-inch 45. I'm going to switch this to 7-inch. I'm going to switch this to 45. I'm going to hit start. And it's going to go to town. Very interesting. This is so... I'm thrilled that we're seeing something new and different. Okay. It's amazing you can hear a little bit of sound off of the needle without anything plugged in. So we're going to go ahead and put this in the run out area. And it seems like the drop point and the return, the reject point are all calibrated fine. All right, strobe warning. We're going to go ahead and check the speed consistency. We'll be looking right here, right here. It's a 2-speed turntable, so 2 speeds. We're going to start with 33. I'm going to hit the Q switch, which will raise the tone arm. I'm going to move it over just a hair so we can get it spinning. All right, lower band there, you can see that it is almost perfect. Just about dialed in perfectly, and as I always say, give it some time. It needs some time to run in for the belt to stretch, for the lubrication to move around and whatnot. We test these things with no burn-in time, which isn't really fair. But that's really good right off the bat. Going to 45 now, the middle band, you can see that it's pretty dang close as well. It's still settling in there. Yeah, not too shabby. Nothing that's, you know, audibly going to cause any issues. All right, let's test the tracking force. I'm going to cue it over there. I've got it off, obviously. I'm going to lower the queuing switch, which, does that work when it's off? I didn't think about that. Huh. Okay. Interesting. So, got to get used to this thing. All right, I'm going to flip it to 33. I'm going to make sure that it's in the lowered position. Then I'm going to turn it off. Then I'm going to place the stylus. Okay. Just over 3 grams, which is fine for the 3600. Track's nice and light. Everything being electrically controlled, it's interesting. I'm used to everything being just mechanical and manual. In terms of, you know, even queuing switches on automatic turntables are typically a manual mechanical switch. So this is really, really interesting. But yeah, tracking force is good. My initial thoughts, just, you know, handling it and working with it, testing it so far, is that it's leaps and bounds beyond the T400. Now, keep in mind the T400 is like it's like $109, so it's a different league, and I'm not sure if they're going to keep it around or not. But it is very interesting to see this product and also this design. I keep saying that. I'm sorry, I'm like a broken record. No pun intended. Okay, AntiSkate testing now. Let's go ahead and raise this up. We want to see this thing on, which would be a good thing. Okay, you have to hit start. So interesting. Wait. So if it's... Okay, if I have this off, and then I flip it to 33. Okay, so that's all I needed to do. So go ahead and place the stylus in the middle. This should be neutral. A lot of people say, no, that's not how you set AntiSkate, but this is the way I set AntiSkate. So, yep, pulls in a little bit from the outer reaches, and it should push towards the center or stay neutral in here, and definitely neutral in here, because ultimately you want the position of the tone arm and the stylus to be dictated by the groove, and without any anti-skate it's gonna pull inward when the disc is rotating. And you obviously don't want any forces pushing the needle up one side of the groove wall or another. So the AntiSkate basically, it counteracts that pressure by pushing it slightly out this way. That does have AntiSkate, and it is set properly. So I'm glad to see that. I highly recommend these Hudson Hi-Fi stroboscopic discs. It's literally like an acrylic platter mat, but it's got this printed strobe on it, which is great. And then on the flip side, it's got an alignment protractor, so you can check the cartridge line. We don't do this enough. We need to do it more often. So let's check how well aligned this guy is. This is somewhat hard to show on camera, but that is set just about perfectly in that position. And then moving it over to this position. And just like that. It's very, very close. It's a hair inward, but it's a pretty good average between the two. So yeah, you're not gonna hear any issue whatsoever. Looks like that cartridge is aligned very, very well. Now I'm not gonna pretend that I wouldn't rather have, a real head shell, that was removable, like an LP3 or something like that. And this is plastic. You want more metal, you want more hefty parts, and this thing does have a lot of plastic on it. This is plastic, this cover is plastic, although I'm sure the gimbal underneath isn't. The cup is plastic, the controls are all plastic as well. But it feels like the appropriate quality level, even considering the materials, for the price point. Again, $200 for a fully automatic entry-level turntable. For somebody that doesn't want to, maybe they have shaky hands like I do. And that's why I love automatics. I just like to walk up and hit start, and it does the rest. All right, everything tested fine, and I like it. I think it's very, very cool, but we need to listen to it. It's sort of an important component to this. So we will move this device into the Record-ology Sound Labs, hook it up to a direct feed, and give it a listen. Okay, so here it is set up. I am going to do the direct feed in just a minute. This is using the unit's built-in preamp. All right, my friends, and that is going to do it. Yeah, it sounds good, looks good. It tests out fine. If I'm trying to nitpick and come up with any, not even red flags or yellow flags, but just nitpicky items, there is a lot of plastic to the construction. I would have liked to seen a fully replaceable head shell assembly, or at least one that was slotted and allowed you to upgrade it. But I want you to keep in mind that this price point, $200, which is kind of where they're all at price-wise for these automatics, none of them really let you adjust or replace the cartridge. Having a permanently affixed cartridge kind of seems to be the way of the world. That being said, if they were going to have an affixed, non-user replaceable cartridge, it would have been nice if they would have stepped it up to a higher end cartridge. This Moving Magnetic 3600 is fine, it sounds good, but it seems like some of the competition is going to that next level with the VMN series, and this would have been cool to see as well. I'm really glad to see that it's got the speed sensor so it can maintain a good speed. That was definitely a step in the right direction. I think they should advertise that more, probably. But I think it's a very adequate machine. There's really nothing wrong with it per se. There's a hair of platter wobble. I didn't really show that in the video, but everything is set and calibrated properly, and the design is unique. and I think it'll be a good fit in the marketplace. I think they will be able to compete in it. So yeah, another entry in the automatic turntable world, and I love an automatic turntable, as you know, so I'm glad to see it. Anyway, my friends, that is going to do it, and it was a lot of fun putting it together. I hope you enjoyed it, but that's gonna do it for today, guys. So happy record hunting. We'll see you next time.